From the bowels of the earth, laborers emerged bearing heavy burdens of stone. With muscles honed by years of toil and backs bent under the weight of ancient dreams, they shaped these raw materials into colossal monuments that dared to pierce the heavens. But how did ancient laborers transform stone into monuments of power? What were the techniques and innovations used by builders to manipulate such massive stones? Let's find out in today's episode. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. How do you move a stone that weighs dozens of elephants? If this question seems impossible to answer, just look at the pyramids of Egypt. It's hard to imagine that for 5,000 years ago, people could build such large structures. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. How did the ancient builders overcome all the difficulties and create these pyramids? And most importantly, how did they lift the stones to the top of the pyramid? To answer this question, we need to turn back the pages of time and see with our own eyes how the Egyptians built the pyramids. There are many theories about who the builders of the pyramids were. Some believe it was an alien race that had advanced technology that allowed them to create these structures. Others claim that the pyramids were built by slaves who were forced to work under the supervision of the pharaohs. However, recent evidence suggests that neither of these theories is true. The first theory is not supported by any evidence, while the second theory is based on the fact that slaves were indeed involved in the construction of the pyramids. They were only responsible for transporting the stones from the quarry to the construction site. The actual construction work was carried out by highly skilled craftsmen and engineers who were paid for their work. This is evidenced by various tools and equipment found at the construction sites of the pyramids, such as copper chisels, wooden hammers, and metal saws. These tools indicate that the builders were not slaves, but rather skilled professionals who took pride in their work. The builders of the pyramids were a highly organized group of people who worked together to create these monumental structures. They lived in small settlements near the construction sites and had their own workshops where they created tools and equipment for quarrying and transporting stones. Archaeologists have discovered several workshops near the Giza plateau that contain tools, equipment, and even finished tools and equipment for quarrying and transporting stones. For example, some tools were designed for cutting stones, while others were used for lifting and moving stones. In addition, some tools were used to shape the stones once they were in place, such as chisels and hammers. In addition to the physical tools and equipment, the pyramid builders also used ingenious techniques to move and lift the massive stones. One of the most impressive examples of this is the use of levers and rollers. By using levers and rollers, the builders were able to move stones weighing several tons over long distances and lift them to great heights. To achieve this, they dug channels in the ground and placed rollers in them. Then they used levers to lift the stones onto the rollers and move them to the desired location. This technique required great skill and precision, but it allowed the builders to move stones much more easily. Another technique used by pyramid builders was the use of ramps. Ramps were used to lift stones to great heights with the least effort. The builders constructed long, inclined planes made of wood or brick, which allowed them to move stones up the side of the pyramid. This technique required a lot of effort and resources, but it was effective because it allowed the builders to move stones without having to carry them. The ramps were also useful for transporting building materials such as mortars and bricks to the top of the pyramid. One of the most important aspects of pyramid construction was the transportation of stones. The stones used to build the pyramids were quarried several kilometers away from the construction sites. To transport the stones, the builders used rafts and boats. Rafts were used to move stones along the Nile River, while boats were used on the canals and lakes. The builders also used sleds to move stones over short distances. The sleds were pulled by teams of oxen or men, and they were useful for moving stones from the transportation route to the construction site. It should be noted that the pyramid builders were not only skilled engineers and architects, but also excellent mathematicians and astronomers. They used their knowledge of mathematics to calculate the size and weight of the stones, as well as to plan the construction of the pyramids. They also used their knowledge of astronomy to align the pyramids with the stars and other celestial objects. Despite the incredible efforts of the builders, there were still many challenges to overcome. The harsh climate of Egypt, with its scorching heat and limited water resources, made it difficult to work. In addition, the builders had to deal with natural disasters such as floods and droughts. Despite these challenges, the builders of the pyramids managed to create these magnificent structures that have survived for thousands of years. Their skills and determination continue to amaze us today, and their legacy remains one of the greatest achievements of ancient human civilization. It is important to note that the construction of the pyramids was not a one-time event, but rather a long-term project that lasted for decades. Each pyramid required a huge workforce, estimated to be in the tens of thousands. The construction process began with the preparation of the site, followed by the laying of the foundation and then the construction of the pyramid itself. The stones were placed one on top of the other in a specific pattern, and the joints between the stones were filled with mortar. The construction of the pyramid took several decades to complete, and during this time, the workforce would have to be fed and housed. This required a significant investment of resources and planning. But perhaps the most impressive aspect of pyramid construction was the transportation of the stones themselves. The stones used to build the pyramids were quarried several kilometers away and then transported to the construction site. This required a sophisticated system of roads and infrastructure, as well as a large workforce to move the stones. The builders used a variety of techniques to move the stones, including the use of rollers, ramps, and sleds. They also developed innovative tools and equipment to assist in the transportation process. The construction of the pyramids was a monumental task that required the efforts of thousands of people over a period of several decades. It was a testament to the ingenuity and determination of the ancient Egyptians, and it remains one of the most impressive feats of engineering and architecture in human history. Today, we can marvel at the pyramids and appreciate the incredible efforts that went into their construction. We can also learn from the ancient Egyptians' innovative techniques and their ability to solve complex problems. If you think about it, the pyramids were not just built, they were assembled like a giant puzzle. Each stone had to fit perfectly with the others to create a stable and long-lasting structure. This required a high level of skill and precision, as well as a deep understanding of geometry and engineering principles. The builders of the pyramids were able to create a structure that has stood the test of time for thousands of years, and it continues to inspire awe and wonder in those who behold it. In conclusion, the pyramids of ancient Egypt are a testament to the power of human determination and skill. The builders of the pyramids were not just slaves or peasants, but rather highly skilled professionals who worked together to create these magnificent structures. They used ingenious techniques and tools to move and lift massive stones, and they planned and constructed pyramids with great precision and care. The pyramids are a reminder that humans are capable of achieving great things when they work together, and that the ancient Egyptians were among the most skilled engineers and architects in history. As you can see, the construction of the pyramids was a truly remarkable achievement. It required a huge workforce, innovative techniques, and a deep understanding of science and engineering. The ancient Egyptians were able to create these majestic structures that have stood the test of time for thousands of years. And now let us watch a video showing step by step how the construction of the pyramids took place. The incredible journey from stone quarries to a monumental pyramid. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe.